privatization simply means the application of market principles to the functioning of public institutes like higher education. According to the 8th volume and 3rd issue of International Journal of Recent Scientific Research, it judges the needs and suggestions of privatization in Indian context and states that the deteriorating administration, corruption, and unproductive classes along with fund unavailability is dismantling the traditional educational system. For the government to tackle this issue, they must prioritize on expanding the already existing public institution and to introduce new institution in private sector only. I can conclude my plethora of points as to increase competitive efficiency and to meet the growing demand of youth and to impart quality education and to improve the economic and technological development, privatization is required in our nation. Thank you.
On the concept of universal educational accessibility, the retaining of public education sector is in higher priority level because in privatization of public education sector definitely undermines equality. The reason is that if we say that right of education comes under the age of 14, the privatization of public sector educational institutions may lead to the infringement of fundamental right of equality. That in many terms. We can see that since I am coming from a district like Wayanad, people, the dropout rate is high after 10th standard and 12th standard. The higher educational accessibility are in different levels, including through the nodal agencies of the government such as additional skill acquisition program ASAP and other school dropout performance ratio. If a private institution acquires or agency acquires all these, the fundamental algorithm of functioning of the society changes.
In India, the courses are limited to engineering and medical, and the art streams and other side courses are considered more as a hobby and not pursued as a livelihood. But when privatization was implemented in Hungary in 2003, the University of Humanities showed high rates of gross enrollment ratios and improved the humanities as a stream to livelihood over there.
Okay, please.
I would not consider this as a fact in this modern era. Considering the people who have come here and the prerequisition of degrees, they are not from any professional degrees or limited standards. The standards have changed enormously, which we can prove that by itself. Again, by privatization, there's a lot of damage to the to all of the economy we see. That when we see that the economy has a huge liability on public sector education institutions, we also give private sector educational loans, incentives a lot.
Thank
That's
you.
also
Yes,
a major
please.
factor.
According to the survey, the government's own account is that government gives very negligible amount on education because it is highly impractical for the government to support such a large population's education. So privatization would improve the demand, would improve the supply of education to the ever-growing demand of the population.
Please.
The privatization will improve the supply of education depends on many points. The accessibility of education are still defined to someone who can afford it. The major drawbacks of national education policies was that was proposed in 2020 was it gives numerous ways of privatization and commoditizing of education.
Over to you.
If a case is made to be to those who can't afford education, it is a matter of progressive taxation and not of university fees. Subsidies and scholarship can give a helping hand to those underprivileged people.
Please.
The point there becomes very evident when who are the taxpayers and how the taxpayers are involved in these ones. When it comes to education through private institutions, the major hold or major GDP percentage of private education comes under the direct liability of the one who seeks it.
Over to you.
Now, our current education system produces 70% of highly professionally incompetent people. But by introducing pilot project of privatization, we were able to produce more employers than employees, which is the current need of our society.
Over to you.
That's popular misbelief because the educational disparity between these is correct replication of the accessibility disparity. As we can see that the people who can afford or get to that stage or get to the standard of an employability are opting private education. That's the major factor of concern.
Please.
The demand for private education is increasing because the private brigade provide more flexibility rather than the government brigade. If they want to implement globalization to your doorstep, private education can take up new initiative and implement it faster than the public institution.
Please.
We can remember that a stage of privatized education institutions, that MBBS can cost more than, a private seat can cost more than 50 lakhs up to 30 lakhs. And people start to say we can get a MBBS from Georgia or Ukraine for 35 lakhs. And also the competitiveness is a major concern, but more than the integration of educational facilities such as UGC, transfer of credits, etc. are very critical concern. Government is doing its all possibilities such as...
Thank you.